the United States women's national team and Emma Hayes have dropped their 18-player roster, including 4 alternates and 3 training players that will be with the team leading up for the Olympics and their 2 send-off matches. One name not on the list, not anywhere in the article or the release, forward Alex Morgan. For the first time since 2008 at the United States, going to the Olympics will not have Alex Morgan. Should she have made it? She's not on this roster. There's a lot of talk and predictions that she won't be on the main 18. But Darian, she's actually not even on the list at all. Where is she?
She's posting on Twitter saying she's
Oh,
remiss to not make it.
that's
I
tough.
feel bad
Tough.
because she is such a legend of the game. She's given so much to US soccer, to women's soccer, like given us so much on and off the field, but it's just that time in my opinion. And we discussed this a lot. I think her sole position being just the 9 with how short this roster is isn't going to work for an Olympic roster. You need players that can be versatile, that can play numerous positions. And she's a forward. When you're not in your top tier form before a major tournament, it sucks. And it takes a bit of time to get out of that. It's not just the Olympics is so quick to go into those games back to back to back every 2-3 days. I don't personally think that that's enough time for somebody to mentally, emotionally get back in form on the pitch. I think it takes a lot more time to rebuild that confidence because it is a roller coaster as a player. You guys know this. It takes a lot of time. So I understand, and in my opinion, it makes sense. And Bryce Gurry brought up, we talked about this because I listed her as an alternate, and she said, "You either bring her or you don't," because then the narrative around camp is going to be, "Well, Alex Morgan's there as a training player. Alex Morgan." It's going to detract from what the team is actually trying to do because she is such a superstar. And so I understand it. My heart breaks for her. I can't imagine how she's feeling not making an Olympic roster since when 2008, a major tournament since 2008. Uh, but I think it's a sign of new times, and Emma Hayes is really making her stamp because I don't think a lot of coaches would have the I don't know. I want to say something, but I feel like I shouldn't say it. The gusto to
They
do it.
wouldn't have the bravery. They wouldn't have the bravery to do
Yes,
it.
thank you. That's
Yeah.
the word.
Sandra,
Yeah.
I'm just going to expose a little bit, bringing the group chat on here. You texted us and you said, Emma did it. She actually did it. What did you mean when you texted that to us?
I think taking on this head coaching position, she's talked about this, how was a dream of hers to coach at this level, to be able to get to coach a team of this caliber with this reputation. But I think with that comes a lot of responsibility, right? We hear about it all the time from the players. We talk about it here on the show, how that pressure brings a level of privilege and how they try to wear that on their shoulders as well. But I think that also goes for the coaching staff as well. That head coaching seat is the hottest at all times when you from the day you get it to the day you leave. And it's the day that you leave that is always most interesting, because how does that happen? That's truly a day where maybe you do have a say in it and maybe you don't. So it's a difficult position to be in. And I think all of my coverage of Hayes, I think at this point in the build up to her eventual arrival on the sideline, has sort of been about how she was going to be this coach that was unlike her predecessors before, because it's true. This is somebody who is coming into this position who is a co-headliner with the national team. And that has not been the case before in the past. People aren't paying hundreds of dollars a ticket to go see Tom Sermani back in the day. They weren't doing that. They weren't even doing that for Joellis, let alone Vlatko Andonovski. There will probably be people who want to buy a ticket to go see the Emma Hayes show.
Mhm.
And I think with that comes all of this, what we're talking about, the fact that you have that certain responsibility and you have to make those very tough decisions. And it goes back a little bit to that hiring process with US Soccer and sporting directors, and they're saying, hey, we want to get someone who's going to come in here and be an effective communicator and also make bold decisions. Well, I don't know if you can get any bolder than this. And I think the soccer side of it, obviously, we've talked about that for months. Alex Morgan had an opportunity at the Gold Cup, because people forget, I think, that she was not named to that roster.
Yeah.
And she came into the Gold Cup because there was an ACL injury to Mia Fishel. So she made the best of that opportunity. but she has scored 0 goals for San Diego Wave through 8 games. That's data that you cannot look past. And she believes was questionable, and the 60 minutes that she had against South Korea, I do not think was enough. So it was a tough decision, I think, for the coaching staff to make, and I'm sure even tough for someone like, Alex Morgan to have to go through, because no one at that stage of their career is going to be a liar. You're not going to, Alex Morgan's not going to wake up, and look in the mirror and say, I'm having a great season this year. She's a real one, and she's not
Mhm.
going to keep it, she's going to go ahead and keep it real. So, um, tough decision to make, but I'm with Darian on this one, in that is a pretty bold decision to make, but it was one that at the end of the day had to be made, and Emma Hayes is the one in charge to make it.
And not necessarily a shocking decision when you look at all the stats and the facts of it, but more so shocking that it was actually done, and surprising that
Yeah.
this was the decision that was made at the end of the day, even though all signs were pointing towards this. And Sandra, you just mentioned that she is a professional, and she does still have a club season to play. And as disappointing as this is, she still has a lot of fans out there. And so immediately after this roster dropped this morning, Wednesday, Alex Morgan took to social media, and she did put out some of her own thoughts, posting a picture of herself in her U.S. Garb wearing the crest, saying, "Today, I'm disappointed about not having the opportunity to represent our country on the Olympic stage. This will always be a tournament that is close to my heart, and I take immense pride anytime I put on the crest. In less than a month, I look forward to supporting this team and cheering them on alongside the rest of our country. LFG." Definitely a
That's a pro. That's a pro right there.
important
Mhm.
important statement for her to make, because as soon as this roster dropped, you knew there was going to be questions, and social media can be a beast being thrown at her, and the way that she handled it is a pro and maturity, and it hurts. You know that she is having a tough day right now
Yep.
with all of this dropping.
I hope
Um
that she can take this as motivation, though, like, or just, I know, look back at her career and everything she's done, because she has created a platform and roadmap for all of these players, ourselves included, who got to watch Alex Morgan growing up and
For
wanted
sure.
to emulate her
Yep.
game and be her. So I hope that she can take this and be really proud of what she's done and turn it to motivation to just kill it with the Wave, because they need a leader now their head coach is gone. And hopefully with her support and her being there and present is going to be massive for them and for her.